Sorry, I need to repeat that because I forgot to record. So for your prompt today, you are reading through the Shakespearean sonnets and you are choosing your very favorite sonnet. Okay, so there's sonnet, Italian sonnet, and English sonnet, right? In the blue pages. Okay, so a sonnet, the only thing a sonnet needs to have to be called a sonnet officially is 14 lines and a formal rhyme scheme. Yep, 14 lines and a formal rhyme scheme, which means that there's like some sort of pattern to the rhyme. And then there are two types of sonnet that get way more specific. So the one that you are used to seeing probably more often, and the ones that you just read, they're called an English sonnet. They could also be called, so put AKA, Elizabethan sonnet. Elizabethan, I know. Let's see. An Elizabethan sonnet. They could also be referred to as a Shakespearean sonnet because of how often Shakespeare kind of popularized the form. So, all right, so these are more specific. It is broken up into two: an octave that goes A, B, B, sorry, A, B, A, B. All right. And then a sestet, which is C, D, E. Wait, I'm messing this up. Sorry. That's an Italian. Sorry. Cross it out. 3 quatrains plus a couplet. I was like, that does not sound right. A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, G, G. And it's in iambic pentameter. All right, so sorry about that. See if you can fit that in. I cross out what I said before. 3 quatrains for a couplet and plus a couplet. So they're not divided into different stanzas, right? And so the way that you would write the rhyme scheme, because they're not divided into stanzas, is like this. You would write it as quatrains, which is groups of 4. So A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, C, blah, 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 blah. That's just to say that the rhyme scheme keeps going throughout, but you change the letters since it's in one stanza, right? And then at the very end, you get a couplet that rhymes together. And then it's always written in iambic pentameter. So Elizabethan sonnet, super specific. Not as specific as the Italian sonnet. So I have once seen the Italian sonnet on the test. I am positive they are not going to test you on the Italian sonnet, but I still want to tell you what it is. So it is a sonnet with an octave. So an octave is 8 lines. And the octaves goes A, B, B, A, just ABBA twice. And then plus a sestet, which is 7 lines, which goes C, D, C, D, C, D. But there would be a, if it's a sestet, then there. No, that's right. Yeah. Okay. And then these can also be called, and this is, you see this name a little bit more often, a Petrarchan sonnet. So it's an Italian sonnet or Petrarchan sonnet. I know, sorry. I think it's because the poet who formalized this one is called Petrarch. All right, the reason that it's I kind of like showing you this difference is that if you look at this dividing point right there, often the sonnet will like have a twist in it, some sort of like shift in the tone or shift in the meaning, and the twist will happen in between these 2 moments. And I think that's easier to see with the Italian sonnet because of how it works with the rhyme, but you can see it in the Elizabethan sonnets too. Often there will be some kind of twist right here that kind of changes the meaning of the sonnet a little bit, or like at least you know, he introduces some idea, some tone. Oh, it's happy, it's loving, it's nature, and then flip it, it's dead. You know, like that kind of a shift. All right, and I think look through your definitions. Tell me if I have missed any. got them all, which means you're ready. Start studying the test. All right, so I do have a poetry test. It's the only real test I have in here that you can't like retake, and it's actually testing your knowledge that you have of like rote memorization. It's on November 1st. So when's that, a week? Yeah, a week. So it's in a week. We'll do a Kahoot next time to practice, and I can kind of show you what I'm looking for. The majority of the points for the test are about identifying different poetic techniques in poems. So if you know what an enjambment is, if you know what caesura is, you know what alliteration is, you're going to be able to identify it. There's a portion that's matching, so it's just like match it with its definition. There's, I think, 3 really random number of multiple choice questions. I think 3. But for the most part, it's poems, and then it says, okay, on this poem, identify where there's some caesura, and then it asks you to interpret the poem too. So it's heavily weighted on like just identifying things to get the most points on it. So the way to do well on the test is to just study these terms and make sure you know the different definitions. I will tell you, Italian sonnet is not on there, so don't stress about learning that one because it's complicated. But you know, the rest of these, they're up for any of the rest of these could be on the test. Are there any other weird ones? I didn't tell you, Bill and Al, so yep. Okay, any question about that? Yeah. Yeah, I would say like a lot of times there's people will mix up some of the form words. So I would say study things like heroic couplet, blank verse, free verse, that kind of stuff really carefully, scansion. So I would say it's really rare for people to get 100% on it, but people do well. People will miss like maybe 4 or 5 points out of 42. Yeah. So we'll play the Kahoot. You'll kind of see what I'm looking for and how I'm looking for it. And then, yeah, then we'll have the poetry test on November 1st. It will take the class period. All right, the other thing to be aware of that is coming up is on November 1st, is that how I wanted to do that? I wanted it to, sorry, I just made these schedule. Yeah, I wanted the poetry essays to be November 3rd. Okay, yeah, move it down, move a little arrow. Let's do November 3rd because I didn't want those on the same day. Yeah, because I wanted you to be turning in your poetry essays and introducing King Lear. So yes, so your poem that you chose at the beginning, you've been reading it over and over again. I've been having you like find things about the rhyme and the sound and all of that. You're gonna write an essay on it. It can be, there's no like official, there's a prompt on Canvas, but it's very simple. It's just like write an essay about your poem, you know, find a theme, write an essay, as though like the AP test just gives you that poem and says, write an essay about this. So it's, I think 3 to 4 pages. Let me see, it's on Canvas. 3 to 5. So I let you go on and on if you want to, but no penalties for just hitting that 3 mark. So 3 to 5 pages, and the prompt is on Canvas already if you want to get started on that one. But yeah, due on the 3rd. So those are our kind of like big things coming up. Does anyone have any questions? Yeah. What day is the 3rd? I think it's Thursday. Is it an A day or B day? Did I give you? I hope I didn't mess everything up on these. That is a B day. But it says period 1 at the top of your page. Okay, hang on. Work this out. I might have just written the wrong period at the top. It says because all these are B days. Yeah. I just didn't. Okay, everyone give me the orange ones back. It's okay if you wrote on them. That'll help the next page. This is good. This is a good start. Just section perfect. You. Much better color. Okay, there we go. But move the poetry essays down to November 4th. So that's Thursday. Okay. All right, and then after poetry, we're moving on to King Lear, which is still kind of poetry, but actually has a story to it. And we'll talk about King Lear for a couple weeks, and then we move on to a book called As They Lay Dying, and that'll take us to the end of the term. So we're starting in on a play and then a novel after this poetry stuff. Are you getting sick of poetry, Abby? No, but I do. So King Lear, I will print you a copy of it. But it's like has no notes in it. It's not the best copy. I think the best versions are those Folgers versions, but if you want to get your own copy of King Lear, it will be a lot easier to read because it will have all the notes and translations and so on. As I Lay Dying, I have school copies. But that's a great question because I do offer extra credit if you buy your own copies of the novels that we read. So if you buy your own copy of As I Lay Dying and you have it so that you can annotate it if you want to, because that's so useful for this class, then I will give you 5 points of extra credit for every novel that you buy for this class. So starting with As I Lay Dying, because I give you your own copy of King Lear, and then moving forward from that, I think we do Pride and Prejudice and Lord of the Flies and Streetcar Named Desire. There's yes. Are we allowed to write in your version? Yes, I'll give you that copy, and you're allowed to write in it. It's yours to keep forever. It just doesn't have the notes, and so it can be harder to read because it's just like you just have to know them. What I do is I open up Spark Notes, and they have the notes on Spark Notes, or they have the No Fear Shakespeare to help me as I'm reading along. So yeah, but I don't require you to do annotations. I don't check that for points. At this point, I'm like, if you want to do them, if they're helpful to you, then you know how to do them. So. Any other questions? All right, let's get back to sonnets. So you're in your partners, you've got your favorite sonnet. Let me see, what was your favorite sonnet? Which one did you decide on? 129. Oh, the dirty one. And then Abby and Octavia, which one did you decide on? 87. So we have all different ones, right? Because I got the other ones. That's awesome. Okay, so we're gonna have a sonnet showdown where you are going to champion your sonnet together as a group, and I'm going to get you some poster paper. Because the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna write your sonnet out on it. And I know some of you have very beautiful handwriting and you pride yourself on your beautiful handwriting, but go fast writing your sonnet. Don't spend the whole class period writing it out. All right, so I've got all different colors of poster paper. You can choose whichever paper fits with your sonnet. I'm going to give you markers and you're going to write your sonnet down on a poster. And then you are going to annotate your sonnet. You're going to show all of the different things that make your sonnet really good. So when you're thinking about that, you're thinking about meter and sound and all of our vocab words, but then you're also just thinking about the meaning of it and like which words are standing out and so on. So you're going to annotate your poster. And once we get to that stage, I'll tell us what to do, but you're going to be presenting your poster to the class and making an argument for why yours is the best. It's a bit of a debate we've got going here. Okay, does anyone have any questions about that so far? All right, I will explain what you're doing at home here in a second. So let me get you some markers. You've got the art supply if you'd like to make it colorful. Why don't you guys just go up and choose the color that you want for your sonnet?
A red boy.
A red boy?
No, or a white boy.
White. Hey, take your chances.
Red.
Ew. Ew. Okay, take your chances with the marker. I don't know if they're good.
This one. Good luck. Write this on it, number.
Yes, write the sonnet number. Might be helpful to push some desks together,
Smart.
or I have this back table. If someone can find the back table. You can even make a 4 desk if you want to. Okay, so if you're working at home, you're obviously not gonna be able to do the debate part, but you are gonna be able to do a little mini poster. So you're gonna write your favorite sonnet on a piece of paper. So it takes up the whole paper, and then you're going to annotate that just with all of the different things that you're discovering about that poem. And then instead of doing the debate part in class, I need you to write a paragraph about why yours is the best sonnet. When you write that paragraph, I want you to try to write it paying attention to that detail. So including all of the direct evidence and embedding those quotations into your paragraph. Like I want a really good, solid literary analysis paragraph about why it's the best.